Do you guys ever open your phone to check one text message and then before you know it, 20 minutes later, you're deep into some stranger's real pantry restock video while your coffee goes cold and your kid is asking for a snack? Yeah, same. Our attention feels like it's constantly being kidnapped. But guess what? It's not totally your fault. Our world is now designed to steal your moments that slowly become minutes, hours, days. Well, today I'm going to teach you how to take your moments back, one micro moment at a time. So let's do this. Hi, everyone. You are listening to Beyond, and I'm your host, Dr. Flora. Listen, life is hard. You don't have to do it alone. As a mindset coach, physician, mom, and an infertility warrior, I have mastered techniques to help move you towards contentment and growth. I can't wait to go along with this crazy ass life journey with you while making sure you feel like your best self. This podcast is meant to have you feel unstuck from your rut and less alone. Let's do this. So the other morning, I'm in the kitchen after my workout, enjoying my quiet morning because I have a household who sleeps in. I've developed a habit to not check my phone until after I finish my workout, which is kind of like my reward. So I finished my workout. I was in the kitchen getting ready to make my breakfast, standard egg whites and wheat toast. The egg whites were on the pan. I go to my phone and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna check one thing and then get back to my breakfast. Before I knew it, it had been 11 minutes. I had answered 3 Instagram DMs, saved a reel on how to dress like a 40-year-old, a reel that I probably will never go back and check again, and somehow ended up Googling whether Kim Cattrall is still feuding with the rest of the Sex and the City cast. I suddenly remembered my eggs. Panicked, I looked at the pan and realized I had never turned the stove on. I didn't prep my coffee, and now I am spending yet another 11 minutes trying to get back to my original plan, which was a quiet morning after a workout with my coffee and healthy breakfast. Then my brain immediately went to the self-blame game. Like, why do I keep doing this? I'm so bad at managing time. Why can't I stay focused? Wait, hold on. Do I have ADHD? I know. It can spiral really quickly, but because I've done my mindset work, my brain redirects quickly. And I realize my attention isn't something I'm bad at managing. It's something that's being taken from me. And that I can take control of. And so can you. So if this sounds familiar, I am here to tell you that it's not your fault. We are all living in a world designed to keep us distracted. But we all can be better at this. You can be better at this. First, of course, I am going to whip out my doctor hat. Let's unpack why our attention continues to be hijacked by looking into the neurobiology. Our brains have something called novelty bias. It loves new, exciting information. Dopamine, which is our brain's reward chemical, spikes every time we get a new notification, a new like, a new piece of information, whether that's an email or news. Social media, you guys, this is the Vegas of dopamine surges. Every scroll, every ding, every red notification bubble, it's all engineered to pull you back in. Dr. Anna Lemke, a psychiatrist at Stanford, calls our phones modern day hypodermic needles because they deliver digital dopamine hits on demand. And the more we feed that cycle, the more our baseline dopamine drops. And eventually it leaves us restless when we don't have that stimulation. And suddenly we feel unfocused when we're not scrolling. Our brain's attention system has two key parts. The first one is called the default mode network. This is active when your mind is wandering, daydreaming, you're thinking, and you're focused on that. The central executive network is active when you're focusing on a task. And 90% of the time, this is what we are engaging in, especially if we are working women. So this leads me to my next point. Anyone referring to themselves as a multitasking superwoman is mistaken. When you constantly switch between apps, notifications, tasks, your brain is forced to toggle between these two networks, which is exhausting and depletes our focus battery even faster. So when you're at work, chugging through work-related tasks, and then you suddenly start making a grocery list, then you bounce over to answering your personal email where your kids' schools are asking for random things. You're checking Instagram, looking up random facts because of a clickbait article title that you saw on social media. You're doing yourself a disservice. You're contributing to your fatigue and decreased attention. A 2023 study in Nature found that heavy smartphone use actually shrinks our brain's gray matter regions that is linked to focus and impulse control. So this isn't only about our willpower, our discipline, it is about neurobiology. All right, my working mamas, I am going to talk to you for a moment. As working moms, we already are managing 500 plus tabs in our brains. Who needs to be where? Did I send that email? Is this my week to carpool the kids to tennis? Who needs to be where again? Oh, wait, is this the week at camp where the kids need to bring their lunches from home? Do we have milk? Wait, who needs to be where this afternoon? I need to pick up my medications from my pharmacy. Oh my gosh, I need to prepare for that work talk I'm giving. Okay, who needs to be fucking where again? Now add our smartphones and everything it holds. It's like trying to focus while someone is constantly tapping your shoulder. And I know you all have been there when you're trying to complete a thought, a task, and your kid is physically yelling in the background, mom, 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 mom. Yeah, it's the same thing with our digital distractions. That is why scrolling through social media to quote unquote veg out does not work. That's why at the end of a day of multitasking, you don't feel like you've actually completed anything. That's why you are exhausted and not content. Our brains aren't designed to process these endless micro distractions while also holding the mental load of life, our family, our work, clients, colleagues, partner, everything. We went through basic examples, so I hope you are seeing yourself in some of them. I hope this brief overview of the neurobiology, the why, helps you understand why it's not your fault and how it is affecting your brain. So let's talk about what to do now. How are you going to take control? Do you ever feel like you are juggling a million things at once? Especially if you are a business owner. You're trying to grow your business, but also, run your business. It can feel like you are drowning in your to-dos with barely a moment to breathe, let alone dream bigger. I have been there. Now, look, I tried hiring a gamut of virtual assistants, but it often felt like there was just one other thing on my to-do list. I had to spoon feed tasks, constantly check in, recheck their work, and still worry about things slipping through the cracks. It wasn't until I found Savannah and Natalie at Every Virtual Solutions that I truly understood the difference between help and the right kind of help. They have extensive marketing, development, and executive assistant backgrounds, so they can take the weight off of your shoulders so you can focus on what you do best, being the visionary. Book a free discovery call on their website and mention this episode for a 10% discount for your first 6 months. Head over to everyvirtualsolutions.com. That's EVERAE virtualsolutions.com. Whether it's web design, content creation, email management, social media, PR, or anything in between, I know you will find a way to work together to lighten your load. It's time to end the burnout and start focusing on you. The answer is small, practical shifts. Not deleting all of your apps, not giving up your phone and switching to a flip phone, not moving to the middle of nowhere, although that sometimes sounds a little enticing. No, it's not about an all or nothing mindset. It is about small, doable, realistic shifts and building upon that. So first and foremost, stop the multitasking. That's the first step. Start single tasking. This is going to be your secret productivity hack. Start with those micro moments. When you drink your coffee, just drink your coffee. No phone, no scrolling. Let your brain be in one place. Now, okay, I know you're probably thinking like, Flora, there's no possible way I can just do one single task at a time. I have to work, tend to the kids. I'm the manager of everyone's lives. Well, I also have an answer for you too. Task batching and time blocking. This is something that I teach all of my mindset clients. This means you batch similar tasks in a certain block of time that is all you focus on. That is my secret sauce for getting as much as possible done in a short period of time without multitasking and without splitting my brain into 5 different ways. For example, I will block out planned time during my day or week to simply go through life tasks like paying certain bills, catching up on Gia's school's emails and tasks, doctor's appointments, making calls. I'm batching the same type of work within one category and I time block that into my schedule. I also time block 30 minutes to meal plan and make my grocery list. See how I'm getting things done, but it's all within the same category. So start with small things. Block out you time to exercise, journal, meditate. It's all about batching the same genre of tasks within a time frame so your brain isn't split into multiple attention systems all at the same time. The second thing here is to create dopamine fasts. These are 10 to 15 minute periods of time throughout your day without stimulation. This is important because it helps reset your brain's reward system. For example, try a 15-minute walk in silence. I love doing this. No podcast, no music. You're not talking to anybody. Notice how your brain feels afterwards. Or try driving with zero audio or visual stimulation. Take a break during a work from home day, put on a timer for 15 minutes and just stare out the window while drinking some hot water with lemon. Also, see how I task batch that peaceful task? It is so important to unplug in order to reset. Number 3, use focus anchors. Most of our phones have focus settings, but most people do not use them. So right now, I want you to go to your phone settings and look up focus modes. I know the iPhone has them. I'm not sure about the Androids. Please get back to me. But these are different focus settings that you can place on your phone in order to minimize interruptions. For example, when I'm working, I have my work focus setting mode on. Therefore, I have programmed in this setting to ignore all calls, messages, target sale pop-ups and updates. Now, I do allow certain people to break through that focus mode. Like if Sanjay calls or texts my sitter, Gia's school, work, those will push through despite the settings, but I can curate this depending on my comfort level. However, most of our notifications are non-essential. And this is coming from a doctor, y'all. Emails, text messages, DMs, sales, the news. It's just too much all at once. Take control of what you allow your brain to interpret. Another way to use these focus anchors is to physically put your phone in another room. So if you need to be creative, if you need to go through life tasks and you don't need your phone, physically get it out of sight. And the third example I have is having no phone areas in the house and no phone times within your day. For example, we have a no phones at the dinner table rule. Therefore, we are present, we are eating mindfully, and we're connecting with each other during mealtime. Another example is on Saturdays, I am completely off social media. I have my phone on for other text messages, but I'm not sitting and scrolling. So those are small boundaries that you can take, but you do need to plan all of this out. So take the time and do that. I promise your future self will thank you. The fourth idea here is to schedule intentional scrolling times. I know this seems counterintuitive. Scrolling isn't evil. Unconscious scrolling is. Pick a time in the day when you choose to scroll guilt-free so your brain doesn't feel deprived. You don't feel like you're missing out. You're still allowing a little bit, but on your own terms, and you're not leaking attention all day long. So schedule intentional scrolling for 30 minutes. Just put on a timer so you don't get carried away, because we all know how easy that is. But don't give in to those dopamine bursts. That's where the timer comes in, and that's where allowing yourself to scroll by staying connected comes in as well. The last one is really simple. Normalize boredom. Boredom is where creativity and deeper thinking will thrive. So let your brain get bored sometimes. Don't rush to fill every pause. Again, this will help your brain get a break and allow and train your brain to keep focus and attention when it's really important, which is most of the day. So I really hope these 5 tips help you. I want you to remember this. Your attention is your life. When you pay attention, it shapes your day, your mood, your mental health, your mindset, which then affects everything else like decision-making and relationships. Reclaiming your attention is not a luxury, my friends. It is an act of self-respect, and you deserve that. Also, you are allowed boundaries. This is coming from a doctor who has worked very hard to build them with her patients without guilt. You are allowed to be unavailable. You are allowed to be present for your actual life. You are allowed to slow down enough to hear your own thoughts again and connect with those who matter. Imagine what could change if you took back even 30% of your attention from the scroll, the pings, the distraction, and put it into you, your relationships, your purpose. It's not about being perfect. I hope you keep this in mind. It's not an all or nothing mindset. It's about practicing presence moment by moment until it feels like you're normal again. So start with one small habit. Pick one of these 5 tips. Start with a super small version of it and take the time to build on top of that. I really hope this helps you guys increase your focus, increase your present, build a better mindset. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend, a family member who needs to hear it. We all need a little bit of help on how to take our attention back amid a society that is now built to steal all the attention. Take a screenshot, tag me on Instagram at Dr. Flora Sinha, and I want you to tell me, what is one small way you are going to reclaim your attention this week? What are you going to start with? How's it going? And as always, if you need specific help, I am taking new clients. I love to coach on habit building. I love to coach on reclaiming your own life and presence and energy, because you deserve it. You deserve to live a life that feels intentional, not just reactionary. All right, Beyond listeners, thanks for spending your precious attention here with me on the Beyond podcast. I'm so glad you are here. Let's keep going together. I'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you so much for joining and spending your precious time here with me. As someone who prioritizes her energy, I am so grateful that you chose to spend yours here. To help me help you, please take an extra 30 seconds of your time to rate and review the podcast on your listening platform. For more tips and a behind-the-scenes look into my life, follow me on Instagram at Dr. Flora Sinha. That's Dr. Flora Sinha. Finally, connecting with you truly fills my cup. So DM me on Instagram, email me at florasinhamd@gmail.com, repost if you love this episode. I love hearing from you. I am so grateful for you and cannot wait to be back for the next episode. Bye.